Oh, look at that. It's not loud enough. I got to work on that.
Evergreen Park.
There it is. Welcome into the EP Podcast live on a Thursday night. This is 3 or 4 straight Thursdays.
This is
we're
4.
doing this. 4. All right.
Yeah.
4 straight Thursdays doing this. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Facebook. We are live on the Twitter. I tried to be live on the LinkedIn. It turns out that I don't have enough followers on the LinkedIn yet.
Oh, come on.
I never use my LinkedIn. You use it.
I use my
You were
LinkedIn.
posting like crazy on your LinkedIn today. And
I posted like three things today.
I saw something good on it, though, that I wanted to make sure that
Okay.
we talk about. So we're going to get to it
Okay.
later on in the show. We have a really good guest that's going to be on the program on this episode. Rebecca Gardner is an author that used to be a teacher here locally in District 124.
Mm-hmm.
And so she is going to be on to talk about a brand new book that's got an amazing title. I'm going to save it if you haven't heard it yet. All right? If you haven't read the show notes, I've got it. She's going to be on. She's going to be on at 8:30.
If you saw the title, you're going to want to watch.
Right, exactly. And we are also going to take a trip to the farmers market.
I'm so dying to get there.
Yeah, a little bit of a video tour of the farmers market is
Awesome.
something we're going to be doing today. This episode and every episode of the EP Podcast brought to you proudly by the First National Bank of Evergreen Park. What can I say about my bank? It's my bank that I can go to whenever I have a question. When I walk into the lobby, they smile and they say hi, and they all know my name. And I don't think it's just because I'm the EP Podcast guy. They seem to know everybody when you're in
They
there.
know you.
Well, when there's a problem, I can make a phone call. I've had them catch problems of mine. I've had them reach out and be like, we saw there was an issue where one of your things that you put in didn't clear really early on with the company. Really early on. And I got a phone call like, Chris, you're about to bounce this. Like, they called me and told me.
That's great.
And then I was like, oh, can you fix it? And they fixed it, and I was over there in an hour, and then I didn't get any kind of fees. And now there's no overdraft fees over at the First National Bank of Evergreen Park.
I just wish they had that when I was in college.
And 5.35% on their 11-month CD.
I wish I had a ton of money to throw into that.
4% on just a savings account, and they have the junior savers account so you can show your kids how they grow their money. And I keep track of all my kids, all their money. If they owe me money, like when the teenager owes me for her car insurance, I just pull $50 out of her account and put it into mine.
Yeah.
Right? And when I got to give them some cash, I just throw it in there.
That's
it's
so
just
easy.
a touch of a button. It's the greatest thing in the world.
So easy.
Stop it and see them at the First National Bank of Evergreen Park at 95th and Pulaski. All right. So before we get to our tour of the farmers market, which
Yeah.
I'm super pumped about, I went over there. People looked at me like I was strange because I walked around with our camera just because I wanted to show you the visuals of the Evergreen Parks Farmers Market so you could see what's going on there. And then we got the guests coming up here later. But before I go and do that, we are transitioning to summer here in the Lanuti house.
Yes.
I know, you're an easy transition. You're single. What do you do for summer before I tell you all the crazy stuff going on with me?
Well, that's it. I'm single. I'm pretty lame.
You are. You're lame.
I want to go on trips this summer. I just got to get something planned.
We have everything happening here. We have the 2 teenagers getting ready for their finals. So next week they've got like the first half of their week, they've got finals and then they're out. Both of them are looking for summer jobs. I have one of them interviewing at Culver's and I have the other one interviewing at Pappy's in the next couple of days.
Nice.
Right. Now, my daughter is also working at another place, but it's only a couple of hours a week.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, she's looking to get a little bit more cash.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And she might stick with the other place, but they both have their interviews. Meanwhile, the little guy who's 7 is miserable because he's going to be in for like 2-3 more weeks. It's hysterical.
Oh, no.
So I've kind of made him feel better because I'm opening the pool this weekend.
Right. Yeah. Erica was telling me that.
Yeah. And if you've listened to the show before, you know how nervous I am about this pool.
Yes.
Okay.
It's nerve-wracking to have a pool. I've had one.
Listen, I inspect the pool daily, Hannah.
It's a pain.
Yeah, I do. I go out and I check it. I make sure that the cover is not a little bit too, it can't be too heavy, can't be too light. The wind in the winter kept trying to pull the thing off. A couple times a little balloon in the middle moved around.
The little balloon.
There was
in
a
the middle.
point where I was convinced that there was no more water in it until one of my kids actually pointed out, Dad, the bubble in the middle wouldn't be floating on air. So there's
You
water.
seriously didn't notice that?
Oh, that's how bad I am with this pool. Okay. I am so nervous about this thing.
What are you nervous about?
I'm worried I didn't close it right. I'm worried there's
You
a
did
hole in
close
it.
it right.
I'm worried that I won't be able to hook the filter up properly again. I'm worried that we're going to be sitting around in mid-June and everybody's going to be looking at me like I'm a jerk because I don't have the thing going. I'm very, very nervous about this. I don't know why. It makes me totally uncomfortable to go do it because generally when I do anything, it breaks. Like if I try to download an update on my computer, the computer breaks. Like every time that look at how long it got for us to get to a point where we were able to do the live show on a regular basis.
I mean, that's an undertaking.
You know, I mean, it took a while for us to get to that point because every time I try something new, then there's things that go wrong. So I've just been a little nervous about the thing. That's all.
Okay.
Let's take a look at the farmers market. I'm going to bring it up here. We're going to get the
You're gonna do the
video
walking
up.
tour?
Here we go. You see, I got it right here.
Yep.
All
Do the
right, and I've got
walking
our
tour.
mics are still on, so I'm seeing that you're able to hear us because you see that I got the mic unmuted.
I know, because we got feedback that during the live show last week, you couldn't hear.
Well, here I'll test it. Muted. Now I tested it and I muted myself. Look at this guy pulled out right in front of me as I was walking into the farmers market. We should get some walking music for this. Hold on a second.
What's
We'll find
walking music?
A little walking music here. Let's see if I can get that on here. Ooh, little walking music.
Little walking music.
As we walk down, and I started filming this in the parking lot because I wanted to show you the ridiculous amount of parking over at Yukich Field if you go into the farmer's market. So it's very easy to pull in, and then look at this woman. She was like, oh my God, this guy's got a camera. Get away from me.
Oh, Lord.
Don't look
It's
at me.
Karen. It's a
Don't
Karen.
look at me. What? No, she's probably a lovely person, or her name is really Karen. Don't stop that, please. My poor aunt is Karen. She hates that. Okay. This woman, she's
many
nervous.
Karens hate
Like
that.
as you notice, as I approach, everybody just starts trying to look forward because they know they're on a camera. Then
Yeah.
this woman here, she just steps right in front of me. Like now I got to slow down my pace. I got to figure out what I want to do. But you know who I spot here as we're approaching the farmer's market? Check out the one that's standing by the entryway. Now there's an Evergreen Park police officer there off to the left at that table. This is somebody over here trying to get me to do something or vote for a political party or whatever like that, and they had to wait outside the barricade.
They say they allow those people, but
Right.
they're outside the barricade.
Well, now I've made
Look
it
at all
safely.
those plants.
Safely into the farmer's market
Look at all those plants.
at Yukich Field. Right now, this farm normally has a ton of produce, but they're bringing flowers and plants at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. And so they've got a ton of stuff. This
I love
this
it.
one right over here actually is the one I'm talking about. They've been guests on the show before. Right now their name is escaping me, but I know I zoom
Beautiful.
in. I zoom in at one point. But they have beautiful flowers that
Is
are
that
out
where
there
Erica
right now.
got the plant that's on your front porch?
No,
Is
I
that from
think
here?
I think she went to Fazzles.
Oh,
for that.
okay.
Yeah.
That was pretty.
She got her plants because my son didn't get her a gift. And like day of, I was like, dude, did you get your mother a gift? And he goes, no. And I'm like, all right, guess what you're doing? You're taking her to Fazzles for flowers and tell her that you planned it all along.
Oh.
Dad had to step in and tell him what to do. But as you can see, they got a ton of stuff here. And now as we move on through the farmer's market, here's another person cutting me off.
Look at all the flowers.
Watch the pace of this lovely woman here with the cane.
Okay.
I'm trying to get around her, and I realize there's no way for me to comfortably get around her.
That dude in
Which
that
dude?
trailer, he has got dried papaya strips.
In the nuts and snacks?
Yes, he has like pouches. I got that last year, and and they're like seasoned with like chili powder. So it's these papaya strips dusted in chili powder. Oh my God, it's good.
All right. Well, look, they'll let you sample the nuts.
Yep.
They have a ton of peanut brittle there. I wanted to ruin
was
my
okay.
diet right there and get the
It was
peanut
okay.
brittle. Okay. A lot of different popcorns, the caramel apples, but they got a ton of samples over at that
Yeah,
place.
get that papaya.
It was one of the more popular ones. This next one here is Homegirl's Hummus. She's been on the show
Ooh,
before.
Hummus.
I bought her hummus before, and it's actually really good. She'll give samples as well. She's a regular over at the farmer's market. Definitely go check out Homegirl's Hummus. I'm a fan of that one. You know, I spend the entire time walking around this saying I want to eat this, but I'm on a diet and I'm down like 17 pounds at this point.
I can tell.
And I don't want to ruin it.
I can tell.
This one I didn't get at all, Hannah. This woman has
What is this?
plates on sticks. I don't know what she's doing. She's reading her phone. She's reading her phone. She's got plates on sticks. She's got plates on tables. I think that's all glued together too. Like those are like centerpieces.
What the hell?
I mean, it's cute, but what am I going to do with plates on sticks?
you stick it in your yard.
Right. This one here also kind of perplexed me. First of all, it's like Fight Club. She's making her own soap.
Okay.
Right? She's making her own soap.
Nothing
She
wrong with
makes
that.
a ton. On the other hand, she's got a ton of hand sanitizer there that's just store-bought instead of her own soap for people to use.
Weird.
Weird, right?
Weird.
Right. This is my favorite one of the entire tour.
The one
This-
that's all by itself?
Well, because she's sitting in her van for some reason.
Okay.
And So as I walk up,
Oh,
there's
it's the
no one there.
local honey?
She's sitting in her van. Now, she probably has a good reason to be in her van. I think we've talked to her before, but this is the local honey farm.
Okay.
And they'll also do iced tea as well.
That's good for your allergies to have local honey. You build up a tolerance.
I agree. Now you can see that it's early in the season, so there's a lot of blank space because the produce section is very small because not a lot of things are ready. But this guy, he's got stuff.
Okay.
I don't know what his planting schedule is and where he's getting his produce from because I thought nothing would be
He's
ready.
gotta
yet.
have a greenhouse.
Look at the peppers.
He's got to have a greenhouse.
Look at the tomatoes. He's got to have a greenhouse.
Yeah.
Okay. He's got some great stuff
Look at
here.
them broccoli.
Yeah, exactly. Wait till you get to the portobello mushrooms here. They're ginormous right off of the farm.
They are ginormous.
And this is sitting over at the
grill
farmer's
those.
market as well. And now I think these guys start bugging me because they want to be on camera at some moment here. There they are. This is gets the guy in the hat's like, "Can I get on camera?" And the other guy's like, "Why am I on camera? I don't want to do this." And so,
Dude, cherry tomatoes.
but they got good stuff there. Now I was just at the
Blueberries?
Payless Farmers Market recently for Southside Pod.
Yeah.
More compact, feels busier. Lot more food places.
Really?
A lot of food places. A lot of
Okay.
local food places. More tables there as well. So
Okay.
I'm kind of showing the emptiness. Like, let's fill this in with some tables. Let's get some food in here.
Yeah.
Because look at now as we get to the food section. We have the coffee place first. This place kills. It is probably the biggest, best place that I see at any farmer's market. They are at the Payless one. They're at the Evergreen one.
Nice.
They're everywhere. Okay.
Nice.
She's always got a line. Now, this is the place that's killing it. They're not even from Evergreen Park. They're not. They're over at 115th and
That's it.
Pulaski.
Yeah, I passed them on the way here today.
Yeah. They're at 115th and Pulaski.
Yeah.
They're the only true food vendor at the farmer's market right now. All the
Okay.
Evergreen Park businesses are being killed by this line out here for food.
Okay.
I just wanted to point that out. They were the biggest line there. I got a tamale, $2.50 for a tamale. They got breakfast burritos out there for you. They got
Nice.
regular tacos out there. They're killing it out there. Again, I think we need more. I don't put that on OSF. I put that on. We need some of these restaurants to realize middle of the day on a Thursday, get out here.
Yeah.
This is the only person in America left selling Tupperware right here. I didn't know people sold Tupperware.
I didn't either. I use glass.
Yeah, she's selling it. My mother would love her circa 1985.
Yeah.
She's selling the Tupperware.
Who's selling mustard?
That's not mustard. It's freeze-dried honey, which puts her in direct competition with the other honey person from the honey farm. I'm going to show the distance here.
Yeah.
Way down there, so they've at least separated them, but that's a competitor. We've
Okay.
got competition. We have a honey war going on
You do have a honey war going on.
at the farmer's market. This one here, another person sitting in their car. How much do you think these necklaces go for, Hannah?
Those look like paparazzi necklaces, and they are like probably $5 a set, $7 a set,
$12.
$12.
$12 is what we're doing for these. These are
Wow.
full sets. So you're telling me this is basically like, is this like costume jewelry? Is that
I mean,
what
from
this is?
just it's costume jewelry. From what it looks like, the paparazzi brand. And
Okay.
it's- yeah.
All right. Well, she's selling that.
Okay.
I'm just kind of showing perspective here as I move around. I want you to see there's a lot of space for vendors to move in. It's early in the season.
need dresses.
It's normally bigger. This woman's got lots of low cut dresses.
I need that.
If you look at the mannequins, they're all exposing some cleavage.
I need that.
Okay. And so she's got you need that? You need that kind of dress specifically?
I need that kind of dress, like that
All
yellow
right.
dress. I like
She's
that
got
yellow
purses
dress.
as well. And that's it.
That's it.
That's the end of the farmer's market right now. There's plenty to do. The food is good. I'll tell you that. The food is really good.
There
okay?
was a lady named Kathy, and she was from like I want to say like Central State, or I forgot. She's not from the area. She was set up there last year. She had these sweet spicy pickles.
She'll be there again, I
I
would
still
imagine.
regret not buying like 10 jars of it.
You
It
will-
was the best pickles I've ever had.
I think one of the things, first of all, if you were starting a small business, you could find a place most days without having a storefront. I've learned that now doing like not only the EP podcast, but Southside Pod. Like on the weekends, there's now the Streets Arts Alliance. This guy comes on Southside Pod from time to time. He's got some Southside brewery or a festival every Saturday and sometimes on Sunday where you got a bunch of vendors together, and that's where these people are going.
Yeah.
On the weekends. Then you got like the Payless Farmers Market.
Right.
You got ours. Payless is Wednesday. We're Thursday. I guarantee there's one on other days of the week that are in the area.
Yeah.
There are people, this is all they do. They're at a farmer's market 5 to 6 days or an event like that 5 to 6 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
And as we see more things happening, like, arts festivals and things like that,
Yeah.
they get to kind of pick where they want to go.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing, So I'm going to tell you, the one thing that strikes me when I walk around there is that a local or 2 or 3 local restaurant you don't even need a food cart. That's the thing. You don't need a food truck to be out there.
No.
When I go to the Payless one, there's 2 guys that have just tables and they bring out their stuff and they have 1 or 2 items and it's great promotion and they've got the name of their place and they're making money while they're out there because they're selling something, right?
Yeah.
Like to me, if I'd be out there, because I think that El Coyote's got the right idea. They're there all the time. They're not from Evergreen, so they're dragging customers that are coming to 91st and Kedzie
Yeah.
all the way to 115th and Pulaski into their restaurant. I guarantee they're doing
Right.
that, right? Like, it just seems like a really good idea to go into. And if you fill that in a little bit, add a couple more tables, you're going to get more produce in there.
I remember I went toward the end last year and it was pretty full. So
It normally is
Yeah.
bigger.
Yeah.
You know? There's no pumpkins,
early.
though. I mean, like, it's a little too early for the pumpkins. It's a little too early for, like, some of the produce that you're
Yeah.
looking for. You're not getting corn yet. You know? It's gotta grow. So
It's gotta grow.
There's some stuff that you don't get at the farmer's market.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this, like, as I walked around there, I saw, like, a couple different things I would snack on, a couple things I would look at to maybe possibly buy. Erica wants a hanging plant. Well, it's a good idea to go get it where I know I'm getting it from a farm.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you're supporting Evergreen Park when you're going to the farmer's market. So to me, it makes an awful lot of sense to go buy it there. So I think she saw this video already and she's like, I want to go back. I see exactly what I want to get when I get there next week.
Yeah.
So that's something that she wants to do. So, you can get out there, you can have a snack, you can have something to eat, you can walk around, you're out in the sunshine. It's really, really well set up. It really is. And
I just need
enjoy
to get
going
time during the workday. That's
Yeah.
all I'm struggling with. Dude, they got me busy.
No, that's the thing. I saw you on LinkedIn
Yeah.
complaining about the idea that people should be back in the office.
Yes.
How are you stressed out working from home? Yeah, I work from home.
You're still
and I work
busy.
more than 40 hours because I run the company. But
You're
I mean,
still
I'm not
busy
that
as
stressed
hell. I'm
out.
juggling multiple projects. I'm juggling multiple campaigns. I still have a ton of work to do. I'm just not in an office. I'm in my home office. But I still have a ton of work to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm noticing? You're lagging a little bit.
I'm lagging.
Yeah, you're lagging a little bit. Your lips aren't matching up on
Oh,
the screen.
no.
Yeah, you're falling apart over there.
Do you want me to leave and come back
I
in?
don't know. Get it together, Kohut.
Oh, what?
Our guest that's going to be coming on the show here in just a little bit, Rebecca Gardner. She was a District 124 teacher and wrote a book that, it sounds to me just by the name of the book, is a coming of age for young women.
I would think it is.
Is that what you're guessing?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, like, immature Chris, of
Immature Chris.
30 years ago would have been like, he would have come up with other reasons for the title of the book. But that's what it sounds like it is. She'll be up here at 8:30. If you want to jump on the show, you're always welcome.
Yes,
The link
jump
is inside
on.
the comments. You click on the link and you'll be able to join us. Just have to have like a camera
Yeah.
and a microphone on whatever
be
device
dressed.
that you're using. And be dressed. Please wear clothes.
Please wear clothes.
I do get like a preview of you. And so if you pop up without clothes, it's only me who's going to be punished by this. So please wear clothes. I wanted to share a little video here.
Okay.
I do like the idea of the videos. I've been going through like old archives of videos that have been shot down here at the bar. And this was filmed in the exact spot that you're sitting in.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm going to see whether or not we can play this one. I think this will cut our mics when we do it. This is, we get guys down here every once in a while that play some music. And this is the guys that actually do Southside Pod. But when you see this, you're going to be like, wow, they're young. I dug this video up. This video
from the broadcast basement
10
days?
years old.
From the broadcast basement
Here we go.
days.
Just a little quick video clip.
Of all the days that I have run, I sought to lose that cloud that's blacking out the sun. My change will come some one day soon, and when it comes I'll ride it bound from night to noon. I feel as if I am looking at the world from the bottom of a well. I feel as if I am looking at the world from the bottom of a well. Aimless days, uncool ways of deconfecting. Painless face, blacked out thoughts you be rejecting. bat it down. And the only way to beat it is to bat it down. And the only way to beat it is to bat it down. Beat it lonely. And the only way to beat it is to bat it down. And the only way to beat it is to bat it down. And the only way to beat it is to bat it down. So let's get down to business now. I feel as if I am looking at the world from the bottom of a well. And I feel as if I am looking at the world from the bottom of a well. I feel as if I'm looking at the world from the bottom of a well. I feel as if I'm looking at the world from the bottom of a well. I feel.
It all came back.
It worked.
All right.
That was riveting.
I do like, well, you know what? I know it's not everybody's going to think that that's cool.
That
but
was
I mean,
riveting.
that's the beginnings of the podcast.
And the
network.
bar has changed so much in the background.
Well, there is a lot of difference in the background, isn't there?
There is.
There are a lot of things that have changed in it. But I mean, like, that's the beginning of the network.
Yeah,
That's
that
now
was the
5
very
years
beginning,
old.
yeah.
And I want to say that we incorporated on this date, the actual business incorporated on the 18th of May.
Really?
Yeah, in 2018.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So it's been 5 years since
Cheers,
I
everyone.
stupidly decided on my own podcast network.
Everyone lift your drink. Cheers.
But I mean, like, this is it. This is when it started 5 years ago. And I was flipping through videos because my social media manager is like, you need more videos that we just throw out, like any content you have.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'll just find a bunch of old stuff that we have.
Yeah,
And I found
that
that,
was old
one.
school.
And I was like, that's from the beginning. Like that's
Yeah.
one of the first ones that we've ever done. So
old school.
Remember that if you are if you're watching and jump in, all you got to do is click on one of the links that's sitting inside of either Facebook or YouTube, and you will be able to join us on the screen. And Hannah is going to singles night.
Well, here's the funny part.
How-
So technically, I'm not single anymore.
You know, here's the thing. I'm gonna say something about this.
What?
I know whoever you're dating right now. Mm-hmm. Okay, you wanna play it cool. You're like, I'm in there forever, like you and me to the end of the world, right? But Hannah, honest to goodness, how many boyfriends have we heard about since you started
what? That's why I'm
talking
like-
about this in January? I mean, we
I
might
know.
have gone through 10 to 15 different dudes.
It wasn't that many.
Okay, but 10 to 15 dates,
Yeah.
but easily, I'm giving like 8 people that you've told me that you're currently dating.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're on the show 2 weeks later and you're like, I have somebody new. So I know look, I know.
I didn't want to bring it up. I didn't want to jinx anything.
But here's the
I'm
thing.
going to a singles night.
Well, that's a problem though. Don't you? Here's the thing.
I'm
Don't-
going as a wing woman, though. My friend Jackie's going.
Nobody's buying that. See, that's the
Nobody's.
thing.
What are you talking about?
So you're going to go to singles night.
Yes.
And you're going, like, I read about this. This is at the Lyric Theater.
It's at the Lyric, yeah.
In Blue Island.
Yes.
Okay. And I think it'd be a great idea for someplace to do this here in Evergreen Park. But you're going there because you don't see these anymore. It's
You
like
don't.
there's almost like a speed dating round that will happen during the night where it's ladies' choice.
Yeah.
So the guys can go to whatever station they want to, but the girls can skip them, which to me is cruel. I mean, like, you're a dude, you show up at singles night, but they're not forced to sit down next to you, so you don't even get to do your
So
elevator
what do the
pitch.
girls do? The girls just say, yeah, don't sit down.
Right, exactly. So
They can do that?
They're just looking at you going, not you.
Not
Like,
you?
That's how I read it. Because
Wow.
it says speed dating,
Okay.
but it says ladies' choice. So that ladies' choice would first of all tell me that the lady's not sitting in the chair and somebody's sitting with her, right? Because she didn't really make a choice then, did she?
No.
It sounds to me like the girls get to move around, but you that was my red flag.
I've never done.
I was not the cool guy you see before me with his whole life figured out when I was a teenager. I dealt with plenty of rejection. I read that and I was like, oh, some poor guy's going to sit at a table for an hour. And like, that's a problem. So you're going to have to tell me. And then if you feel bad, you might have to sit with that guy because you're just a wing woman, right? You're not out there looking.
I'm not out there looking, no.
So
but
if-
it's good. Like, think about the stories I'm going to come back with.
Well, if you saw a guy sitting there and no girl had sat down because it's a lady's choice. If I've got this right about how this is working, what night is this again?
Right, tomorrow.
Tomorrow night,
Yeah.
Friday night, okay, in Blue Island. Go to Blue Island and find singles in Blue Island. That sounds scary.
I know, right?
And I love Blue Island. It's a fun place to go to. But I mean, like, it can be weird, man. Blue Island can be a weird place.
Tell me about
You
it.
can go there and, I mean, like, you know, you always hear, like, keep Austin weird.
Yeah.
Keep Blue Island weird. It's the weird spot of the South Side.
Yes,
when you go
it
in
is.
Like, it's cool, but it's also that, like, that island in Pinocchio where if you stay too long, you grow ears and a tail, and then you can never leave. Like, that's what Blue Island is. And you're going there supposedly as just a wing woman?
Yes. She didn't want to go by
Such a
herself.
dumb word. You should just say wingman.
Wingman. Okay, I'm going as a wingman.
You're going there just to this singles thing in Blue Island. I mean, there's no way you don't get hit on. And the reason why I say there's no way you don't get hit on
That's going to happen.
is because we were in that bar
I know.
2 weeks ago.
Yes.
And you got hit on.
By a weirdo.
He wasn't weird. He just thought he was Luke Skywalker.
And he was a sculptor.
It was May the 4th, and we had just finished the Thursday night episode of this podcast, so it was 2 weeks ago. And it was May the 4th, and we finished, and I saw something in my timeline that people were dressed as Star Wars characters in a speakeasy in Blue Island. And I was like, this seems like something we should do as our after show thing. You know?
Yeah.
Like, we might go do an after show thing tonight. Like, I think that, like, us going out afterwards, I want a sponsor. I want, like, a place to be
we
like,
need a sponsor.
we want the live show afterwards. Like, we already
Yes.
have the sponsors for the other stuff, but like a special on top of the First
After
National Bank of
hours.
Evergreen Park, but somebody for the live show who's like, afterwards, these idiots are coming in here.
Yes.
You know, that seems like a smart thing to do. But until then, though, it's me seeing that there's a bunch of people dressed as Star Wars characters. And
Seems legit.
yeah, and they're and we get to the bar, and Hannah's just trying to hang out with my wife. That's it. I'm
That's
sitting at
it.
the end. I'm having a conversation with a buddy of mine that's at the bar. I see him there, and
Yeah.
I'm like, "Hey, what's going on, man?" We're having a conversation, and you're just sitting there talking with your girlfriend.
Yeah.
And Luke Skywalker comes walking
Yes,
up.
he does.
But he doesn't look like Mark Hamill, does he?
No. Not at all.
He looks like Mark Hamill if Mark Hamill was like a shorter man, and whatever was lost in height was added in waist. That's what I
Yeah.
would go with right there.
Yeah.
And he's old.
And it would say probably late 40s, early 50s.
You thought he was in that?
Yeah.
I'm 46 and he felt older than me.
He looks older, yeah.
Right?
could be drugs.
I don't want to be a jerk about it, but sometimes I look at guys that are in their 40s and I go, are you sure you're in your 40s?
I do the
'Cause
same thing with some women.
you look a little older than me. Now they've had a hard life. These are
Yeah.
the same people that when I was backstage at rock concerts were into the really heavy stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
They age.
All I was doing was drinking beer.
They age.
Yeah. Okay. But he comes sauntering up and he does the thing. And tell me if this would work on you if it was a good looking guy. Because I could tell you weren't attracted.
I wasn't attracted. He wasn't interesting.
But would it work what he did? Because he was listening to our conversation.
Yeah.
And then he just dove into it over your shoulder.
That's rude.
So you don't like that even?
No, that's
you turn
rude.
around and he looks like Thor. You're still okay with it. It's Chris Hemsworth.
I mean, if we're talking about Thor, fat Thor or like regular Thor?
Either Thor.
There were two Thors.
Okay. Regular Thor. Okay. Chris Evans is standing there.
Okay.
Captain America's there or Thor from the Marvel movies. One of
So I
those
got- I
kind
got
of guys.
both of 'em.
Right. They're standing there
Okay.
and they interrupt while you're in the middle of a conversation. You turn around, you accept it, don't you?
I mean, you know. I mean,
Now,
not for Luke Skywalker.
okay. So now I'm going to expand on this question. You get to this evening, tomorrow night at singles night, and you're just being a wingman,
Yes.
and Thor walks up. See? And that's why you shouldn't be going to single nights when you're dating
I'll
somebody.
talk to him, but
I'm just saying.
I don't want to. The pretty guys, you know, like the pretty muscle and look at me, like they're no good.
Yeah.
They're no good.
I don't know.
They're no good.
How long you been dating this guy that you're with right now?
About 3 weeks.
3 weeks. 3 weeks is nothing.
But I'm not like on the market.
Okay.
I'm not like looking.
But
other
Thor
guys.
shows up.
But Thor.
You're going to consider it.
Now, if the singer from Seven Dust showed up, I'm like,
The
take
singer from Seven Dust.
Take me.
Okay.
But that'll never happen. He's
All
married.
right, you're weird. We have our guest on, thank goodness, because the show was turning into which guys Hannah would let pick her up at a singles night. And I'm sure her current boyfriend would be very worried about that. So we're going to bring in our guest. Rebecca Gardner joins us on the line. How are you, Rebecca?
Hello, I'm great. How are you?
Good. Thank you for joining us. I always worry that when I reach out and say, do you want to be on a podcast? Somebody's going to be like, a what? No way.
In today, I feel like podcasts have become very mainstream, so that surprises me.
So you are, you're a former D124 teacher. Am I saying, I want to make sure, what school did you teach at?
Yes, I taught at Central at the middle school for 6 years.
Okay, so Central Middle School. When was the last time you were there? You mind giving me like the last year that you were over there?
2017.
2017. All right, so you're over at Central Middle School. You're dealing with preteens turning into teenagers. It's probably a confusing time. I know it was a confusing time for me. And you must have seen enough that you were like, I'm going to write a book that's more of a coming of age book, because that's what this looks like it is. At least that's what I'm guessing it is. Why won't my boobs grow?
I
Dot,
love
dot,
the
dot.
title.
And other annoyances.
I love
That's
it.
your book. Tell me what this book's about.
Yes, I mean, you're spot on. It's a coming of age novel. So it's about a 14-year-old girl named Emma, and it's written diary style. So it's really stream of consciousness, like Emma's experiences as an 8th grader. So she's 14. So she's dealing with things like boys and kissing and zits and friends and just all of those very normal teenager things that when you are a teenager feel like they're the end of the world.
They do.
Yeah.
Did you draw upon yourself, or did you draw upon stuff that you observed when you were at Central, or was it a combination of both? Because
It was a combination of both. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-oh.
all right, I'm back. Son of a buck. We lost like every viewer.
Oh,
like,
no.
like,
Come back. If
you gotta
hear
be,
us.
you gotta be kidding me.
If
Like
you
the
hear us,
internet
come
went
back.
out. The internet went out. Absolutely terrible. The internet goes
went
out.
out.
We lost our guest. I'll see if I can get her back on.
But we
there.
still kept 2 viewers.
There she is. She's
we
back
still
on.
kept 2.
Rebecca,
I'm
we
so
had.
sorry.
Yeah, I'm not blaming
That
you.
was us.
You didn't steal my Wi-Fi. It's probably the teenager that walked into the house. I mean, like, it was like one more device walked in above me and the entire thing shut down.
Yeah.
So it's
Oh
not
my
you,
gosh.
Rebecca. You were fine. In fact, your computer probably works fine, and I'm sorry that you had to switch to something else. It was definitely not your fault. So, okay, so we're back, and people will probably trickle in at some point and start to
Yeah.
figure this out. So I'll go back to what I was asking you before. Is it something you draw on from yourself? Is it something from the kids? Because I know that, like, my daughter was just telling me that one of her teachers is actually getting emotional this week because it's the last week with the kids, and she really enjoyed that class.
Yeah.
So you do get attached, don't you?
Oh, definitely. But the inspiration came from both places, from my own life, and then also, from my experiences as a middle school teacher. I will say what was really helpful about being a middle school teacher was, like updating, for social media and the way things have changed since I was a teenager in, the early 2000s.
So you have to kind of like modernize it, I guess. Like, because to me, I always
bet.
assume it's the same as what it was like when I was there. I mean, let's be honest. Like, I look at my kids and I'm like, you know what you should do, and they're like, Dad, that's not how it works anymore. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty smart, and you should just listen to me. But but you're right. You probably have to add it on to what the kids are doing. So, like, it's like a diary. So how old is the little girl that's writing this diary, or at least the age perspective that you're trying to come from?
She's 14, so she's in 8th grade. I say usually like the perfect age range for the book is anywhere from like 11 to 15.
Okay, that makes sense. It seems like it's really good like timing too, because I've never read the Hey God, It's Me, Margaret, but it seems like you're on the same wavelength with something that's about to blow up. Like these are two things. You got that movie coming out, you have your book.
Number one, when people compare me to Judy Blume or to Are You There, God, It's Me, Margaret, it's just like, I don't have
amazing.
words. Like, it's really cool. It's
That's
very,
so
very
flattering.
cool. It is. It's so flattering. And secondly, I mean, the timing really is just like perfect, because I'm going to see the movie this weekend. I'm very excited. So I'm super excited. I actually had taken some time off too from doing book work, and I'm working on a sequel. But I just had a baby in January. So
Congratulations.
Thank you. So I just really started getting back into my book work, and so it really just like is chef's kiss timing.
So talk about like from when you were in high school to what the kids are going through now. Like Chris was saying, like, have things really changed, or are you thinking in your head like same kids, it just has technology? Like, is it really different?
That's really what it is. The themes are the same. The friendship, the first loves, the crushes, the bullies, like that all hasn't changed. It's like the integration of technology, of social media, really is like the thing. So kind of interweaving that, and just the daily habits of having a cell phone and texting your friends and things like that I didn't do,
Right.
But yeah, like the meat of it though is exactly the same. Those same issues, those same themes are universal. Just
so
like
Chris is right.
The themes are from Judy Blume's books that were written, in the 70s are still relevant today.
They are.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. I got 2 teenagers.
Yeah.
Pretty much, I just went through this. The only difference was, Rebecca, is that when my daughter was 14, she went through the pandemic at the same time. So take all of your stress and throw that in. And then and she just, I mean, if I would have had like another kid older than her, and I'd been like, all right, it's the same thing. It's just more difficult, but I got it on the hardest level when I went through the thing.
The first child.
Did you write this book? Like, when are you writing this book? Are you writing it while you're stuck inside of your house? Is that why you decided to put pen to paper? Or did you leave Central because you were like, I want to become an author, I want to do something else, and that's just a coincidence?
Well, part of the reason I left Central was because I wanted to pursue my writing. So that summer I left Central, I sat in my basement and I wrote the majority of the first draft of this book. And then I started a new job in the fall and I finished the draft, and then I got pregnant. And
that throws everything off.
And so it really got put on the back burner until quarantine in the COVID times.
Right.
And
then you got nothing but time.
Everyone else, I was like, well, I need a hobby. I don't want to bake bread. I don't want to, do this. But hey, I wrote that book. Maybe I should take a look at it. And I started reading through it, and I was like, oh, this isn't total garbage. Like, maybe I should try and do something with it. And then the rest is history. I found the publisher that I started working with and started working on revisions and all of that fun stuff, and published the book last May.
You're going to be at the Evergreen Park Public Library this weekend, right? What is the event you're doing with the library? You're going to be there in person?
Yes, I will be there in person. So my component of it is, like a book talk, an author talk. So I'll talk about the book and answer questions. I don't know, probably do like share a little bit of the book. I'll sign any books that if anyone is interested. But the cool thing is that they are also doing a menstrual product drive. Which again, all of the timing is just like so perfect. Again, like with the Judy Blume of it all and the coming of age vibes in the book. Yeah. Like spoiler alert, Emma gets her period in the book. So it really all ties nicely. Yeah, exactly. Like I mean, eventually, it will happen. But so it's really cool. I'm really thrilled to be part of this event, to have been tied to, this great cause. So the second piece of the event is attendees will be able to build period kits. And they'll take one home and then they'll donate the other one.
That's
and
great.
They're working with Candor Health to donate those period kits to girls, living in poverty who maybe don't have access to those products.
Feminine products, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think this is wonderful because Lord knows this is something that I've tried to avoid a conversation over in my house.
But you can't.
No, but I mean, like, that's the thing. So, like, if I would have had this happening at the library, I would have just been like, hey, walk up to the library and ask them.
Yeah.
That's what I would have had to, or your mother. That's what I went with. I would talk to your mother about that. I don't know what I'm doing here with this. So you're going to be up at the library this weekend. That's great. We have a comment. I don't know why Dan Levy is asking this question in here. I don't know if you ladies know who Dan is. He's a big radio guy.
Yes.
In Chicago. Yes.
Yes.
So Dan's in here.
Hi, Dan.
Watching. Dan's a great guy. I got to go talk in his class at Columbia College.
Right.
Maybe about a month ago.
Yeah.
About podcasting, which was really cool.
Yeah.
I was his
Cool.
guest. Rebecca.
Yeah.
He's asking where the best wings are in EP. So since Rebecca is from Evergreen Park, or actually has taught in Evergreen Park, have you ever eaten in any of the places around here? I got right now for me, I'm in between Porter Cullen's and maybe Tavern in the Green.
I was going to say Tavern
Like
on
I'm
the
trying
Green.
to figure it out, but maybe I'm not thinking of somebody.
Those were
so
the-
Rebecca.
Places that popped into my mind.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
Purple and Discovered in the Green.
It's very different now with the wings because they got so expensive.
Yeah.
Like you have during the pandemic, somehow chicken wings just disappeared.
Yeah.
I don't understand why. It wasn't like I was going to restaurants and eating chicken wings. So I don't know where all the chicken
the
wings
workers
went.
weren't going to the
I
farm.
know.
Yeah.
And the chickens obviously don't have wings anymore because it's very hard
Nope.
to find these things still.
Nope.
But I know that my favorite ones at the time, probably leading into that, were when I would go to Tavern because Tavern gives you the big giant
They
wings
do.
and they've got a very good
And they're
sauce that's over
crispy,
there. So
and- yeah.
I'm gonna give them the edge, even though everybody knows how much I love going up to Porter Cullen's and all the other restaurants that are around it. But I'm gonna give them the edge. And Rebecca just kind of said one of the other. She's like, ask me about my book and stop asking about chicken wings. Dan Levy.
I'm happy to talk about snacks. Snacks are
Yeah.
a very important piece of the writing process. So like we're right there. We're in line.
Yeah, Dan's very excited about chicken wings for some reason tonight. I don't know what this is all about. So he's happy.
Why don't you
to-
come down to the EP and
Yeah,
have some
come on
chicken
down
wings?
there.
What's
Dan,
for
come
that?
down to the EP and you can
Join
jump
us
in.
for chicken wings.
Join us for chicken wings. We'll
After
go
the podcast.
We'll go searching for chicken wings. Me and Bass.
Yeah.
That's what his nickname is. He just
Bass.
because his voice is so deep. That's what his nickname is. All right.
Bass.
So Rebecca, how do people get your book? How do they go out and find this book? Once again, because I love reading the name because I'm really a 13-year-old boy at heart. Why won't my boobs grow? And other annoyances. Where do they get this at?
Anywhere books are sold, you can get it on Amazon. You can get it on Barnes and Noble. I always love to tout bookshop.org, which is an online retailer that supports local independent bookstores. I'm also working with Bookies on Western, and hopefully it'll be carried there this summer. And then I also, sell them directly. So anyone can send me a DM on Instagram and I will sign a copy and send it directly to you.
That's great.
Yeah, okay. Well, at least she's not saying when she said sell them directly. The first thing I thought was that like she pulls up in a parking lot and just like starts selling them on the back of her car. And I was like,
Yeah,
please
just
don't tell
open
me
up
you're
the
doing
trunk
that.
and I just
You seem like a wonderful woman. And I would hate for you to just be like murdered somewhere for doing that. Don't do that. Please don't do that.
No,
before we let you go, what would be your advice to somebody who wants to be an author? We've had a few authors on recently. Okay, we had an Oak Lawn author in here. We've had an Evergreen Park author in here. There's a few locally here. We keep finding more and more people that are writing books right here in this little area here. And I always try to ask them the same question, like, how do you get started? Because it's interesting that everybody's got a little bit of a different way of looking at it,
Yeah.
like self-publish or go get a publisher or, just throw a bunch of stuff at the wall or whatever. What would your advice be to somebody who said, I've got an idea or I've got something half written and then a pregnancy got in the way, whatever it is, how do they get it going and get it finished?
Well, my initial gut reaction to your question was just going to be, do it, write it, tell your story. That's the most important thing, because a lot of times when I was going through the publishing process, only 2% of people who start writing a book finish it.
I believe that.
So, make if you want to do it, do it. As far as the publishing goes, it's hybrid publishing. And I think that is awesome because the publisher helps you with everything, like all the nitty gritty stuff, but you own all the rights to your book at the end of the day, which I think is really cool.
That's neat. That's awesome.
Nice.
Well, I appreciate you jumping on, and good luck at the event this weekend at the library, and thanks for trusting the podcast that somehow turned itself off in the middle of your interview.
We're so sorry.
Thank you for coming back.
No, don't be. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be at the library this weekend, and I'm so excited to have been able to chat with you today.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Rebecca. You can check out Rebecca. Her website is RebeccaGardnerAuthor.com, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks,
okay.
Rebecca.
That was very nice of her to
I
jump
love
on there
it.
and then to come back after
I
everything.
know she came back. How nice of you.
turned
You
off.
came back.
Yeah, that was nice of her to do. All right,
Came
so
back.
I wanted to read the story
Okay.
that I read in the Evergreen Park Patch
Okay.
this week because it's crazy. And it really tells you a lot about the difference between Evergreen Park and Gotham City. And
Oh.
and that's what I've been referring to Chicago as lately. 'Cause
Okay.
I had to go out the other day. And it was yesterday. Yesterday morning I had to go out. And I had to divert where I was heading to and drive through some side streets in Oak Lawn because of this poor Chicago police officer that was murdered.
Oh,
And
yeah,
Blake
her
Lamb's
funeral
over
was
there.
yesterday.
And they had 111 shut down.
Yeah.
And there's 5 helicopters up. And I totally understand it. But as I'm driving around listening to the helicopters with the windows down, I'm like, I feel like I'm in a Batman movie.
Yeah.
And the problem is that it happens way too often.
It
and
does.
Chicago is just not the place that I remember it being 20 years ago when I was a kid. I used to get to drive around when I was a teenager and I at least knew where I could go. My kids look at me and say they want to go into Chicago. I laugh at them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really funny. You're staying here. I never thought I would be that way, but that's how I.
This is how it is now. You have to be like that.
So you got 3 Chicago men driving a stolen Hyundai Elantra the other day. And this is a story in the patch. And they drive into Evergreen Park. And when they cross Western at 95th Street, the thing that we've talked about so many times on the show before, and we've had village officials in here that have talked about it. Mayor Kelly Burke has talked about it on the EP podcast. I want to say that Mark Marzullo has talked about it on the
Yep.
EP podcast. The cameras and the scanners that immediately scan the license plates. And it hits on a stolen vehicle that these 3 morons had ripped off in Blue Island. So they're from Chicago, went to Blue Island, stole a car, drove it around probably for a few days. I don't know the
Yeah.
exactness of that. And then they decide they're going to drive their car with the stripped down steering wheel into Evergreen Park. Big mistake. And this is why I love what's going on in EP right now. This is why I love the cameras. This is why I love the way that they set up. This is why I love whenever they sit there and they tell me, we're going to make sure that we have enough police in the right areas because we're going to keep people in Evergreen safe, no matter what's going on in Gotham City next door. The moment these guys pull in, reading this article, they go to the Walmart because who knows? They got to go to the Walmart. They got to get something.
It's always the Walmart.
They're bored. They're bored. It's the Jewel. It's the Walmart.
The Jewel, the Walmart.
They pull into the parking lot there. The thing is, with the readers and the cameras that the village has, they're able to identify. They know it's stolen.
Good.
And they see them getting out of the car.
Good.
And they got squad cars nearby. And they converge very quickly into Walmart. This is like a lesson to all crooks. Stay out of Evergreen Park.
Just don't even think
Don't even
about
come in here because that's the thing.
Don't do it.
They probably drove that stolen car around all over the south side. And the moment they touched Evergreen, Like they're like, hey, we got to go to the Walmart.
Yeah.
And they're like, there's a Walmart over there. Somebody should have noticed they were crossing into EP because EP is not messing around.
Yeah.
They cross the street. The license plate reader reads the license plate, notifies the police that the thing is stolen. They got cameras up all over the place. The squad cars pull in, and these guys see the cops show up in the Walmart.
Yeah.
Right out of the patch. You can read this, okay? They pull into the Walmart parking lot. These guys see them, and they start running. So now we have a foot chase through the Walmart parking lot.
Yeah.
With EPPD and these guys. They're shedding their guns everywhere. There was a gun found under a
Lord.
car. There was a gun thrown over they're trying to disarm as they're running.
Yeah.
Okay? Because they're armed car thieves. Allegedly. I have to say that, okay?
Allegedly.
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 They allegedly were in a car with an allegedly stripped steering wheel, carrying alleged guns, running from the police allegedly through the Walmart. Did I cover myself enough? Okay, so they're running from the police, and the police are chasing them. And they see this person, this guy, sitting in a car waiting for somebody to come out. And he's got his baby in the back seat.
Okay.
And it sounds like the way I'm reading the article written by Lorraine Swanson, who's been on the show before, he's in the passenger seat. And they dive into the driver's seat and they're trying to move the baby. They knock the baby over in the seat. The dad starts struggling, or whoever the male that's inside the car starts struggling, right? And the police are on him in like a second. And then that's it. It's over.
Lights out.
Evergreen Park police identified a thief, caught them, got 3 guns from what I'm reading off the street, and prevented a carjacking with a baby in a car because they were on the spot like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, as much as I get upset about what I see going on in Chicago, you walk into Evergreen, it's like the Matrix, for crying out
Yeah.
loud. The
Just don't do
computers grab you immediately, and then they converge upon you with all the powers that they have. That's exactly how that system should work. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I could ever get the guy who's in charge of the police department on, I would have such nice things to say about him. But he doesn't like to talk to the press.
He doesn't like to talk,
Doesn't
no.
like to talk to the press. But I will, if he's ever watching this, if somebody tells him, like, you should check out what they said. They're always saying good things about
He listens. I know he listens.
It's so impressive to me
Yeah.
that's how that you could say in theory that a system's going to work. It's going to catch these people because it's going to read these license plates, and then the police are going to go get you. And when I was a 911 dispatcher, they have they have readers on the front of a lot of the county sheriff's police cars.
Okay.
So they're driving in traffic and they'll get a hit. And then they'll get a thing that pops up on their screen, and now they go look for the car and it's described in it because they're like, I think I just passed one like that, right? Sometimes they get them, sometimes they don't. It used to be people had those low jacks, right? Now when a low jack goes off, by the time that the dispatchers are able to look up the low jack number that pops up on the low jack reader, the car is 3 miles away.
Yeah.
It's useless. This system, though, catches them right away, Hannah. I mean, these guys, they were right on them, and I just wanted to say bravo to the Evergreen Park Police Department.
They're
because
amazing.
I thought
They really
that was,
are.
I thought that was awesome when I read that.
That's amazing.
I really did. I was like, that is exactly how that thing is supposed to work,
Yep.
that entire system.
And it
and it
works.
worked out perfectly.
And it works.
So you can read the entire article on the patch, and it's titled "Plate Reader Nabs 3 Gunmen, Baby Knocked to the Floor in Getaway Bid." That's a solid
That's
story.
terrible.
It's a solid story. The baby seems to be fine.
That's good.
These guys are going back to Bridgeview Court on June 8th. I hope they throw the book at them. Okay?
Do it.
They probably won't.
Do it.
Because this is the way that things work around here. But they should.
It's Cook County.
Like, no, they're just disillusioned children that didn't know what to do that night. And if only they had
They
more
didn't
to
have
do.
any resources.
If we had more programs for these kids to be
we
in, they
had
would have
more
never gotten those
programs.
3 guns and then tried to carjack a car with a baby in it while they were running from the
Right.
police. That would have never have happened
Right.
if we just had more after-school programs for them.
Yep, because they would go to those after-school programs. They would go to them.
All right.
Give me a break.
Exactly. All right.
Give me a break.
So I think we covered everything tonight. I think
Yeah.
we covered your singles night. I think we got your you didn't tell me about your LinkedIn thing.
Oh yeah, about
Your
working
work from
remotely.
home. We were going to get to that, and
Yeah.
the guest showed up.
Yeah.
Tell me about this real quick. Let's finish up on this.
Okay, so I
You
love
went on a rant on LinkedIn. Tell me what you
I
said.
love Mike Rowe. I love Mike Rowe, Dirty Jobs Mike Rowe. I listen to his podcast. I agree with him the majority of the time. Me and him are on the same wavelength. But this morning he was on Fox News talking about how we're losing collaboration due to remote working. And
That's your first problem. You're watching Fox News. Seriously. Don't watch
Seriously.
any of these shows. Don't watch CNN. Don't watch Fox. Don't watch these things.
I go back and forth between all three.
Don't watch any of them.
I do,
They're
but
all
I'm a
bad
news
for you.
person. No, I'm a
Okay.
news person.
Yeah,
I
but
watch.
that's not really news. They're all propaganda stations.
Okay,
you
but
know
I
that.
but okay,
You
I'm
know
a TV
that.
person. I'm a
Okay.
TV person.
All right.
I watch it all.
All right.
I watch it all. So I was like, I agree with you most of the time, dude, but like on this one, like you're wrong. So collaboration happens in a remote environment. If you have a good manager that wants everyone to collaborate and engages everyone to collaborate. I have learned more from my coworkers. I've been at my new job for about a month and a half. I have learned more about my coworkers at this job than I have at any other job I've had. Because we talk, we tell stories, we're always have our cameras on for our meetings. I didn't realize how much that helps with the collaboration. I'm on a first name basis with just about everybody there. It's great. I love it. And we are literally spread from Boston to Pasadena, California. We're all over the place, different time zones, still on the same page, getting to know each other, sharing pictures, sharing stories. I love it. So collaboration can happen. It just depends on the manager. Does the manager foster it? Does the manager encourage it? Does the manager build time into your meetings just for like casual chit chat? You know, like, okay, we're done talking about work right now. Let's talk about you, or let's talk about what's on your mind right now, or anything like that.
So
And
here's what I would think. And I think you're right. If a good manager,
it comes down to management.
if a good manager like finds a way for just kind of like loosey-goosey talk, that's where most ideas come from.
Yes.
But I would counter with this. I don't know what it's like in I think every business is different. So you might be right in one field and wrong in the other field.
Right. Right.
But I know that as much as I have so much technology surrounding me with what I'm doing, and then I choose to do something at home because my studio's here, right?
Yeah.
When I'm actually with somebody, that's where all the best ideas come from.
Well, I mean-
when you're here, I come up with the best ideas for the EP podcast.
Yeah.
When Ed is joining me here in the bar, as opposed to if he has a bad week and he's just in remotely from his home, I get far more things for Socks in the Basement.
Right.
When the guys from Southside Pod are here, I get far more when they're actually here than when we're trying to do it remotely or we're over the phone. When I was doing radio, some of the best ideas we came up with were on a napkin in a bar after 3 beers.
Yeah.
And I think when you're in the office, you do get the social things either at lunchtime or after work stuff. That's, I think, the thing that's missing. Because I remember every office I ever had, you got to know your coworkers better and you came up with ideas not because of the work hours, but the actual you're like, hey, you want to go grab a beer after, or
I
you're
wasn't
sitting
like
in the
that.
break room and you come up with something. That's when I would come up with stuff, and that's lost if you're remote.
That part is lost. But then again, I'm not one to go out after work with my coworkers. I was never like that.
Come on, you're going to singles night.
But
You never went out with the coworkers. My wife was a coworker.
no, work was work. My work is
Wow.
work. Yeah, work
All
was
right,
work
well.
to me. You know, like you don't get to know me outside of work. You know, like I was very strict about that. Work was over. They would invite me
We're
out.
different. I dated sales girls, many
Well,
of them.
yeah, and you married
Interns, sales girls, co-host, you name it.
one. You married a sales girl. but
Hey,
no, I'm saying
caused
like,
some problems in the workplace sometimes, but I couldn't help myself.
but collaboration is possible. I've gotten to know people. I'm confident. I love it. And you don't. Yes, it's not going to replace face to face, but it's not lost.
All right.
He's acting like it's lost. It's not lost.
All right. Well, I think there's room for both. I mean, what if this? I don't think there's anything wrong with every once in a while you pop into the office.
Well, see, I go to our Chicago office every now and then.
Because
We have
to
a
me,
Chicago office.
like I'm living with my wife right now.
You
as
are?
you normally do, as you normally do. But I'm living with her 24/7 because she works from home.
Yeah.
That wasn't the case before the pandemic. Right?
No.
Okay. Now she goes in like once a week, and who knows? They may add more of them. Who knows? Okay. But I mean, like that's the thing. Like I also think that it's probably good for home life. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. That's
It
what I'm going to
does.
say. Like I mean,
It
like that's
does.
the thing. Like if she's at work and I'm at work, and then I have a chance when I'm done with work. Think of it this way. Like I don't get a commute home. I don't get to decompress listening to the radio anymore. All right. So when I'm done, I walk 5 feet up the stairs and I'm back. If
Yeah.
I just fought with something, had a problem, something screwed up, the computer shut down, we lose internet in the middle of the live show, I'm in a mood for a few seconds, right?
Right.
I don't get to decompress in the car. I think when you have people that are working from home, especially couples now, that are working 2 different jobs and they never get a chance to decompress, they take the crap from work and they bring it into the relationship, and you're on top of each other. Because I know when she's mad at people at work, I'll get yelled at for something. I'm like, what are you yelling at me for? And she'll be like, because such and such is happening at work. I'm like, yeah, because you just left there 30 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Like, I don't work there. I'm not your boss. Like, I mean, like, I wasn't even there. I don't even know what a TPS report is. Like, I don't know what you're yelling about, right?
TPS report
Like, I
on the
don't
cover
know.
sheet.
You see what I'm saying?
cover sheet.
So I'm just saying that, like, there is, like, the idea is I know it's convenient. I know we all love doing our work in our pajamas.
I don't.
I know we
I get dressed every day.
I know we do. And I completely understand the idea of I don't want to go downtown.
Yeah.
Right? I don't want to drive an hour. I get that. I really, really get that. And I understand that. Okay. I also wonder how much lives change now
Yeah.
because of the fact that we have some people, this is the norm when they're
I
doing
mean, if I was like in a couple situation and you're both working from home, dude, separate offices, not hanging out there. Because absence makes the heart grow fonder. I don't
Right.
want to see. I don't want to see my other person, my significant other. I don't want to see that person all day.
Maybe after work, I walk out the back door instead of up to the kitchen
Yeah,
and then walk around the block.
there you go, and decompress.
Where's your father? He's on his walk home. What do you mean he's on his walk home? He walks out the back door every day, and
made
then
a walk.
and then he stops off at Porter Cullen's or one of the other or the American Legion up the street because they're both the closest places to me,
Yeah.
right? And he stops off and he has a beer, and then he wanders his way home. Like if I could make my commute about a half hour, then
Yeah.
I think maybe things would be better.
Hey,
Thanks for the idea, Han. I'm going to blame you when I tell my wife that that's what I'm doing. There's a new on-demand podcast on Monday. The on-demand podcast for the EP podcast comes out each and every Monday, but it's available right now. Really good stuff on the one that's currently up there. Go back and check out any of the episodes anywhere podcasts can be found, and always at the eppodcast.com. The new member service coordinator, I think that's his title, the guy in charge of all the cool stuff that the Chamber of Commerce does.
okay.
Kelly Maroney used to do it.
Yeah.
The new guy was sitting down here this morning in the bar, and I
Nice.
recorded an interview with him, so he will be on the show, and lots more of fun surprises and things that I have planned for Monday. So make sure you are subscribed. You can do it on anything. You can say, hey, Alexa, play the EP podcast. You can go to the eppodcast.com and get all of your options. Thank you so much for listening
Thank
or
you.
watching the EP podcast. Those of you who went back and watched it later because half of you disappeared when we lost internet connection. Thanks for coming back.
Thank
and
you.
we'll have to work on the internet around here. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Evergreen.